Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video, and we are looking at X-Treme X-Men Volume 2 Omnibus. Now this is the standard cover, to be honest with you. I used to go with Forbidden Planet quite a lot and buy the direct market covers. However, they've outpriced themselves off it. Now the only thing with that is the company Speedy Hen, who I buy these from, only get the standards, so I'm stuck with a cover that I probably wouldn't like. I always, for some reason, I don't know what it is, always like to avoid Wolverine covers. But the good thing about this, I guess, is Storm's on it as well. I've also got Volume 1, so this completes the set, which is great. So I'm really happy to have both of these together. There we go, both on like so. Look very nice together and will look great on your shelf. And then obviously, you know, that is a direct market cover because that's what I brought. So let me just shift Omnibus Volume 1 out of the way and we can have a look at the back a little bit better. So Chris Claremont concludes his most extreme X-Men series of all. I find that a bit weird. Just gonna lift that up because, well, you probably struggle to see them, but it has all the covers down the side, one side, which is great. You have Bishop down there shooting, and then you have another picture of Storm up there. So what does this collect? So this collects Mechanics 1 to 6, which was like a mini series amongst the series, but it's cool that it's in here because this is how I would have mapped it as well. And then you have X-Treme X-Men issue 25, which is the beginning of God Loves Man. Wait a minute. God Loves Man Kills. Yeah, I got that completely wrong. Volume 2, by the way. Issue 25 to 46, that's the entire run. And then X-Women 1, which I have never read before. In fact, actually, I'm quite happy with that because that is a book that I have not read before. Not because I'd never intended to. It was just, it came out as well as other titles at the time, and I just didn't get around to watching it. Now, Under Here, I really like Under Here, but firstly, let's just have a look at the side. So your creators, so you got Chris Claremont, then you got Juan Bobillo on the art, as well as illustrator Igor Gordy. I'm sorry if I pronounced any of that wrong. A little synthesis here. Now, the biggest thing, not gripe, that I have with X-Treme X-Men is the fact that after a while, it just lost its inconsistency. It started so well, first two stories, and then it just went off on a tantrum, and you felt like the Books of Destinies was never really wrapped up, although some of the other stuff was wrapped up. So, and then characters coming in and out, it was just, you know, a bit weird towards the end. Then we have this great piece here as well, and that's towards the end of the series, if I have remembered correctly, where they are taking on Hellfire's Bogey, whatever you're calling him. He's a creep anyway. So let me try and get my camera into a position where we can perhaps see what's going on in the book. Hopefully. Sometimes doesn't work out very well. The important thing is to lift it up gently and then just slowly fold it over, and there we go, we begin. And I'm sorry, I may knock the camera. I will try not to. I will try, hopefully not to. Keep this into a good position. That's slipping out. So it's who's doing what in there, nice and straightforward. I'm sorry I've done it already. And then we'll begin with this Mechanics, like I said, 6-issue mini-series, Kitty Pryde. So rather than doing a story with all the X-Men, you know, he focused on Kitty Pryde. He created Kitty Pryde. She is one of his favorite characters, which is great. And just gently, I'm just going to gently foot it on. And she's dealing with some stuff at this point because her father was killed in Genosha, and we sort of find out some of her trauma, etc. And she's in therapy, and then she's dealing with some mutant radicals. And I think there's some mini sentinels in there, if I remember correctly as well. And then, yeah, we go straight into story where William Stryker is back. Lady Deathstrike as well actually helps him, which is quite interesting. So, once again, it's hit and miss. I mean, I will read this run and I will enjoy this run, but there are just moments where I was like, it seemed a bit bizarre. You know, this one seemed maybe a little bit bizarre, but Kitty Pryde was back in the mix, so it was all cool. And then I think this is where they were sort of touching on some of, they went out of just the normal, this is outside of the school. The school is new X-Men, and this is a little bit more living in the real world and how mutants survive in the real world. So we get a suicide bomber, but not as all as it seems, because she her family were killed by mutants, and she lost an eye. And we also find out that property is being brought up around this area, something very important about this area. And then we obviously have the arena as well, which I think when I first read it, I didn't enjoy this. I thought, you know, but actually in hindsight, I actually saw him having her own little thing in here with Yukio. Was pretty awesome. And Masku actually getting some attention. So yeah, so there's some great series, and then they wrapped it up by revolving the Elias Bogan story, which started in Omnibus 1. And I'm sorry I kept knocking. I need to find another way to review and, you know, without this bouncing around, so I'm really sorry. I will try to get better. See if we can get through this as well. There we go, and we're left with that sort of that last little story. X-Women 1, and I guess it was just a one-shot. I thought it was a bit, you know, there is a novel actually. This is reasonable size, but there was a little graphic novel released around this as well. And then the extras, so you got some character designs, just trying to make things a bit interesting, and then some art, sketches, etc. It's great. And you also get Storm wanting to do the XSE route as well, so which I thought was very, very nice. And I actually really like Bishop in this run as well. Bishop in this run, and then Chris Claremont's next run in Uncanny X-Men. I really like those runs, and I hope next year we actually start seeing some of that Uncanny X-Men run that happened just after this with Storm's team. I thought that was a really, really decent run. I think definitely worth, you could definitely perhaps get a couple of omnibuses out of it, or maybe just one. I can't remember how many issues it was. I mean, I remember 5 graphic novels when I was originally buying it. So I feel like that would be a great step. But yeah, another great omnibus. I was very happy when Omnibus 1 was announced. Definitely very happy that Omnibus 2 has been released. So that means we have 4 from this era: X-Treme X-Men complete, New X-Men complete, and dare I say it, you know, it'd be interesting to get Chuck Austin's Uncanny X-Men release. I'm a completist. I want it. You know, some people hate it, but I guess when you were competing with Grant Morrison and Chris Claremont, it was always going to be hard to be up there with the greats. And perhaps maybe, you know, his stories at this time felt a bit simple compared to others. But anyway, that's another story. So anyway, if you like my video, which I really hope you do, please do support me by subscribing. I really appreciate that. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Thank you to those that are already subscribed to my channel. Please look after yourself. And as always, embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.